So a couple weeks ago, we took our kids and grandkids to Camp Christmas, which is in Lakewood at Belmar. And when you walk in, there's this tunnel you go through, and there's this big sign, and it says, emotional baggage check. Will you show the first picture? So I love that. I had to get a picture of that, obviously. I mean, those are the kinds of things we want to let go of, right? Let it all go. But, you know, when you have a different view, different things come to you. And I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but way in the back, there's one that says abandonment. It's all by itself. And the expectations box is very big. But so appropriate for tonight's service when we're talking about release and the burning bowl is checking those emotions, check them at the door. What they're saying for that show that we went to was your emotional baggage check, that baggage that we carry around with us really dulls our life. So the Camp Christmas was something we hadn't been to before. I didn't have any idea what it was going to be, but it was a lot of lights and it was beautiful once it got dark. But if you're carrying around all this emotional baggage, it's like the colors are muted. You're not really seeing the colors in their brilliance. So I thought it was brilliant of this production to have us check our emotional baggage at the door. Now, we can always pick it up again later if we have to take it back, but you can also just leave it there. And that's what our burning bowl is all about, is letting go, is releasing, letting go of those things that no longer serve us. And it's okay if they're no longer serving us. Be gentle with them. They served a purpose for a time. So everybody should have gotten an envelope when they walked in. Right? Everyone, is there anyone that needs one? Oh, we need a couple up here. We need 3 up here, staff, of course, and singers, yeah. So the ushers will bring some up. So inside, first thing you're going to do is you're going to address the envelope to yourself. You're going to address that to yourself. So this is a letter that's going to be mailed to you next year. And inside the envelope, you're going to find a little piece of flash paper. You don't have to do anything with it now. I just want everybody to make sure they have it. The flash paper is what you're going to be putting into the flame. Somebody before the service said, wait, I need this big of a piece of flash paper. I want this much stuff that I have to release. No, you only get this little bit. And inside the envelope is also a letter-sized piece of blank paper. And you're going to be writing a letter to yourself on that paper dated December 2023. And in the letter, you're going to be saying all the great things that transpired during this past year. It's like setting an intention. So I love our Burning Bowl service because this is such a great practice. It's such a great ritual. We just sent out the letters from last year. And if you get your letters, and were you really surprised at some of the things you expected or wrote down from last year? It's a great thing. So the other thing is, please try to finish the letter tonight and leave it with us here, because I didn't, and I said, I'll just do it later. And I didn't get a letter in the mail this year. My husband got his letter, but I didn't get my letter. So make sure that you leave it with us, or if you promise to bring it back, so we can mail it out to you next year. So just a couple months ago, my husband and I decided we were going to do this clearing. It's called A Year to Clear What's Holding You Back. And it's put out by Daily Ohm. And every morning we get a new email. Kevin gets them. He sends them to me. And it's just really good reminders of how to clear, how to let go, how to not hang on to stuff, mostly stuff in our heads. So I love that she says this. One of the days was this: clutter is not just the stuff that spills out of drawers. It is anything or any thought that makes us feel off-center and rattles our cage. It is the limiting belief that cloud who we are. It is stuck energy. So what we're wanting to do with this burning bowl is getting rid of that stuck energy, that stuff that's blocking, that may have been good at a point. So symbolically with the burning bowl, we're releasing those things that are holding us back from being the brilliant selves that we are. Life is a constant flow of give and receive, of letting it go and bringing on new and creating space. And we have this ability within us. Every one of us is called our power of release or power of elimination. It's one of our 12 powers that we talk about in Unity. Last week on Christmas Day, Kevin and I went to see Avatar, The Way of Water. And they're underwater a lot. And we watched the making of it and how they had to practice learning how to hold their breath. And every time they went underwater, I'd go, holding my breath with them. Like I could never hold my breath as long as they could. Some of them got up to 6 or 7 minutes, which is amazing, holding their breath. But holding our breath, try taking in a breath and holding it and not releasing it. What happens? You might get lightheaded, you might pass out. But we have to release in order to get in the next breath. We have to. It's a flow. We're not alive if we're not doing that. We have to always be able to release in order to bring in the next breath. Bring in the next bit of good, whatever it is for our lives, whatever it is. We have to make space for that. And that's what this releasing is all about, making space, being in the flow. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, says this in his book, Prosperity. As children outgrow their clothes, we outgrow our ideals and ambitions, broadening our horizon of life as we advance. There must be a constant elimination of the old to keep pace with this growth. When we cling to the old ideals, we hinder our advance or stop it altogether. So if you're feeling blocked in your life, maybe there's something that needs to be released. Maybe there's something that you need to let go of. The trees are a great metaphor, how they have their leaves, how, what the purpose of leaves are for trees is so that they can catch the sunlight and convert it to energy so the trees can grow. And while the leaves are on the trees, there's a lot of water. They need a lot of water for the leaves and for the tree to grow. But at the end of the season, the leaves no longer serve a purpose. The tree needs to go dormant. It needs to release the leaves. It needs to push them out so that the tree, because there's not as much water coming in the winter months, it needs to push the leaves out so that the tree can continue to grow. There's this, when the leaves are on the trees, it's like this reciprocal energy exchange. And once there's no more energy exchange, once there's no more aliveness from things in our lives or things in our consciousness or things that we're holding on to, it's time to release them. Just like the leaves, the tree will say, "Thank you very much, now it's time for you to go." And there's no judgment in that. There's no "Oh, but I want to stay on the tree." It's all okay. It's nature's way of saying, it's time. Thank you for all you did for me, and now it's time for you to go. So often we want to cling to things. Like with the clenched fist, we cling tightly, instead of life wanting us to just open our palm and allow and receive, but we hold on tightly to things that are not serving us any longer. You know what? It's harder to hold on to something that's no longer a fit for our lives than it is to let it go. Because when we let it go, as as they sung in the songs, there's a freedom, there's this release, there's this joy, there's this lightness when we let go of things, when we're not holding on so tightly. That reciprocal exchange. There's an aliveness when we're in the flow. So often we don't see that. So often we just hang on tightly. It's all, and if you're not ready to let go of something, well, that's your choice. It may be a longer path to get to a place of peace. It may be a longer path to get to a place of love and lightness and spaciousness. Maybe you want to pick it up at the door on your way out. It's okay. It's okay. Ernest Hemingway says that the first draft of anything is shit. None of us are really the final manuscript, right, in our lives. We're all some version of the edits. We're all some version of getting to our higher selves, getting to a place of knowing who we truly are, living into our potential. We're the authors of our own lives. We're the creators, but we don't often see it. We're so blocked and bogged down with so much stuff in our consciousness, the clutter. And this isn't easy for any of us, so it's not easy for me. It's not easy for any of us to let go. Letting go is hard. Letting go is hard. It's a process. And the first step is becoming aware of what is no longer serving us. What is no longer serving me? What has been a gift but has been used up? And then having the faith, knowing that letting it go will be okay. Will be okay if I release this. A lot of people get stuck right there because they don't trust. If I don't hang on to that control, something's not going to go right. Instead of trust. And then have the willingness to let it go. Are you willing to release this? We're not always willing. We're not always willing to release it for good. Maybe we want to hang on. And are you ready? Can you let it go? It's all up to you. Create that space. Allow it to open you up to what is the next great thing that's going to come into your life. The next great thought, the next great idea. Whatever it is for you. And so once we release, and we're going to be releasing our little pieces of flash paper, just a little. Don't put the big paper in the fire. That'll cause a lot of problems. And just the little piece. Once we do that, then we write a letter to ourselves, setting that intention for next year. You can write the letter to yourself. You can write it to Spirit. You can write it however you want to address it, however you want to sign it. But all the great things that are coming to you in 2023. Let your imagination work with you. Be creative. What do you see happening in 2023? It's a great time to do this. We're just completing this year. We get to start all over. It's a brand new baby day, brand new baby year tomorrow at midnight, at 10 p.m. here. So let's move into this time of becoming aware of what needs to be released. What needs to be let go of? Come into this place, and maybe you need to close your eyes and just start thinking about what do I need to let go of? What is restricting the flow of good in my life right now? What needs to be released to make space, to allow you to receive more good? What thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas are preventing you from having peace of mind, are preventing you from feeling alive and brilliant and glorious? Paul said, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Allow yourself to be in that place of renewal where you are letting go of something to bring in something that's going to just lift you up. What lights you up? And what's keeping you from having a sense of hope? Maybe there's something that you want to write on your flash paper that has really brought down your sense of hope. What shift in consciousness do you need to make? When you have something, you can write it down on your flash paper, knowing what needs to change, what emotional baggage you want to get rid of, so that you can experience all life has in store for you